Here we go. It is time for my FPL team reveal. I have spent so much time on this team making little adjustments, whether it's making a sacrifice in defense for the midfield, making a sacrifice in attack for the midfield, making a sacrifice in midfield for the attack. There's just so many alternatives you can go with an FPL because of the small price differences. So many options. But this is the team I've settled on. I'm recording this on Thursday morning. I've actually got a flight in 3 hours. I'm recording this on Thursday morning. Game started on Saturday. Chances are it might have changed. I don't think it will have changed. I'm pretty locked on this. But in FPL, anything can happen. This is the team I have settled with. In goal, or my keepers, this is my game week 1 team, by the way, on the field, in case you couldn't tell. And by the way, in case you haven't already joined our league, that'll be the top link in the description. David Raya, I've paid up for a 5.5 million goalkeeper, which I don't like to do because I'm having to make sacrifices in other areas of my team, particularly in midfield. I've had to forcing a 5 million midfielder. In Ahmad, who I'm not disappointed with, I actually wanted to try and find a way into the team, but I'm not completely sold on it. David Raya, I think, look, obviously I've got Matt Turner on my bench who won't be getting starts. That Forest defense will be a crime. And Matt Turner's not a very good keeper anyway. But Raya will just be there in the 6th for me all season. I can't be bothered with rotating goalkeepers. There's the appeal in going for the Dean Hendersons, the Mark Fleckens, but I just want to stick with Raya, who's got a fantastic defense, a fantastic midfield in front of him. He's a great keeper himself, and I just think he provides me with that security, that clean sheet security that really should hold me in good stead in the long run. Let's move to defense. I have got my 5 defenders: Trent Alexander-Arnold, Pedro Porro, Valentin Bacco, Ezri Konza, and Harwood Bellis. So Harwood Bellis is that 4 million option who is just the enabler. He won't get any minutes. He's a bit similar to Alfie Doughty last season, honestly. Just very, very cheap. He's got a bit of goal threat on the set pieces, which is handy, I guess. But yeah, honestly, not really relevant. Ezri Konza is my rotational option with Barco. Konza will probably start most weeks. In fact, Konza's fixtures to start the season are absolutely fantastic, except for the first match day. West Ham away, I feel like they're going to come out absolutely firing. I trust Barco with Everton away more, but Barco's fixtures to start. After that, he's got Man United at home and Arsenal away. But then he's got Ipswich at home and Forest at home, and hopefully he's still starting because Estupinan is injured. Konza, after game week 1, he's got Arsenal at home, which will be a bit tough, but then he's got Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Ipswich, and that's just a very, very good run. It's a guy that is nailed on in that Villa defence. We know what the Villa defence can provide, and we know he's a very, very good player and a very good team. I think 4.5 for 4.5, that's a steal. And Ezri Konza can sometimes move out to right back as well, which could increase the attacking threat. I was actually a bit stuck between Konza and Lissandro Martinez. I ended up going with the guy who has the more attacking threat and is not more nailed on, but in terms of injuries, more reliable. So there are my 2 defenders on the bench. I was tossing up I tossed up for a few seconds whether to go Saliba over Trent for that extra mil, but Trent's attacking threat mixed with his fixtures. He starts the season with Ipswich away, which is just a dream. Then Brentford at home. He's then got United, Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves, Palace, Chelsea. That's the first 8 weeks. That's a very, very good run. And I think Trent will get back to his old self. He didn't have the attacking returns last year that we've seen from previous seasons from him. But I think he'll be fine. And I think Trent's a guy that, in my opinion, I really want to have and you almost should have. Pedro Porro was actually sort of a late inclusion to my team in the last few days. He hasn't really been in my plans, but you take a look at him. He's 5.5, and with the attacking threat and fixtures he has, he starts the season with Leicester and Everton. It's a very good start to the season. He can maybe even rotate onto the bench with an Ezri Konza if need be. But I had him for a lot of last year, and he's a very enjoyable player to watch. I've noticed his attacking threat does go down a lot when James Maddison's in the team. So, barring an injury from Maddison, his attacking threat won't be the same as last year, as Maddison missed a lot of last season. But I still think he's a very good option, and for a 5.5 million defender, I'm quite happy to have him there in a strong Spurs defense, hopefully. And then I've gone Valentin Barco, who's quite popular. 21% of managers have gone with him. His fixtures to start the season are terrible. Everton away, United at home, Arsenal away. As I said, he then moves into the Ipswich and Forest, but he's that 4 million defender that will play with a stupid and out. And I watched quite a bit of Brighton towards the end of last season. In fact, against United, last game of last season, and what a player. He's going to be a star. We know what he's done with the Argentinian youth setup, and I think he's a guy you just got to have, and I think most managers will have him. Let's move into the midfield. I was tossing up whether to go with the 5 midfield options and just play Isak and Haaland and instead of Solanke go for an enabler, but I've opted for the 4 and I've had to go with an enabler in here anyway. So I've got Saka, Gordon and Leon Bailey, who I'm all very happy with. In fact, Gordon was sort of a late inclusion, but when you look at his fixtures, Anthony Gordon starts with Southampton at home, Bournemouth away, Spurs at home, Wolves away, Fulham away. It's a very good fixture. I think Anthony Gordon's a really, really good pick. And I think Isak's sort of similar reasoning. Locked on number 9. He's on penalties and he's got those fixtures. So Newcastle guys, really good to have. Leon Bailey, as I mentioned with Cons' fixtures before, I think Villa's fixtures are going really under the radar. Leon Bailey's owned by 4.1% of people, and they've just lost Moussa Diaby. He plays only off the right, sometimes in the front too, or just behind Watkins. And for his fixtures and for his output, like, he reminds me a bit of Diogo Jota in the way where he is so clinical. Like, whenever he's on the pitch, he will return. So I can't believe Bailey's being so overlooked, but I've got him on my team. So I've got Bailey, Gordon. Bukayo Saka for me is just a gimme. Like, he was actually the first person in my team when I opened FPL for the year. Like, fixtures don't matter. He'll be hopefully in there from game week 1 to 38. He's just one of those players where he's a premium. You know what you're going to get, and he keeps building season on season. Amad Diallo is the one I want to talk about. So he's 5 million. I've become a bit nervous over the past few days. So I've watched Amad all preseason, and he's looked unbelievable. And in my opinion, he should be our first choice right winger. Should be starting, and I think he will. And that's why I've got Smith Rowe there as a rotational option in case he doesn't, because Garnacho came off the bench in the Community Shield and scored. Ten Hag has incredible faith with Rashford. Anthony Hill continue to have faith with as well. Jadon Sancho, where does he fit into the plans? So I think Amad's security isn't amazing, but he is probably also our best winger at the moment. So I've got faith Ten Hag will start him against Fulham, and I've got faith he'll do the right thing. And whenever Amad's on the pitch, for me, he'll return. But it's just good to have that rotational option of Emile Smith-Rowe there, because Smith-Rowe's fixtures after game week 1 are Leicester at home, Ipswich away, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home, and Forest away. It's a great run for Fulham. And that's actually why I almost considered going Anthony Robinson over Ezri Konsa as well, because Fulham's run also going really under the radar. Let's move on to the front three. Haaland's like, I saw him score that hat-trick in pre-season. Then I looked at his fixtures, and game week 2, he's got Ipswich at home. And if you don't have him, then fuck. Like, that's borderline triple captain. And I know you should probably wait for the double game weeks to use your triple captain, but God, you might as well, because that could get nasty. And even Chelsea away scored a hat-trick against him in the pre-season. I'm captaining him first week. I know some people are opting for the Isak or the Saka options, but I'm going Haaland first week. You've got to have him, in my opinion. And you might notice, obviously, I've got no Salah. I'm a bit off him this year. I probably shouldn't be, considering he shushes every FPL player up year after year with how consistent and good he is, and I'll probably have Salah in my team at some point. But yeah, this is what I've struggled with so far. And Dominic Solanke, when I noticed I could afford him, I needed a third attacking option, and I had 7.5 in the bank, and I see Dom Solanke just sitting there. And for a guy that will be Spurs' first choice number 9, with whoever providing off the flanks, whether it's Kulusevski, Johnson, Son, Richarlison, they're looking really dangerous, Tottenham. They start the season with Leicester and Everton. And honestly, like, I don't think fixtures matter. I think Solanke will bag most games. He'll probably, in my opinion, push the 20-25 goal mark. I think he's a gimme pick. I'm not sure what his ownership is. It's 25%, so people are still looking at him. But, I mean, being in a Tottenham shirt, in my opinion, makes him only more attractive. as an FPL pick. I think he's going to be fantastic. And I'm happy with this team I've settled on, to be honest. I think good depth, which is important considering you've got guys like Ahmad who you'll never rotate with Smith Rowe. You've got guys like Barco who you'll never rotate with Konsa. I'm okay. I'm pretty settled with settling for the 5.5 million goalkeeper to give me stability in that position. I think the Arsenal defense is just so trustworthy. And yeah, I think it provides a good balance in the defense of attacking threat, clean sheet potential. I think my attack is very, very well balanced. I'm really happy on what I've settled with. I'm just hoping Ahmad gets those consistent minutes because playing the guessing game each week of Smith Rowe and Ahmad and who to start won't be fun because that will be the game most weeks. And yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with the team I've settled on. And hopefully, I win the whole lot. If you haven't already joined the league, link in the description. Please join. I'll see you all next time. Cheers.